Why America is great, the world's most powerful military. When discussing American exceptionalism and the factors that contribute to the United States' global standing, few elements are as significant as its military capabilities. The American military represents not just raw power, but a complex ecosystem of technology, logistics, personnel, and strategic reach that has no parallel in human history. This examination explores the multifaceted nature of American military dominance and how it shapes global security, influences international relations, and reflects the values and priorities of the nation itself. Historical foundation and evolution. The journey to military preeminence began in earnest during World War II, when American industrial capacity demonstrated its ability to outproduce the combined output of its adversaries. The United States emerged from that conflict as one of two superpowers, and the subsequent Cold War drove continuous innovation and expansion of military capabilities. Unlike empires of previous centuries that relied primarily on manpower and territorial conquest, American military power evolved to emphasize technological superiority, global projection capabilities, and comprehensive integration across all domains of warfare. The post-Cold War era presented new challenges and opportunities. Rather than scaling back significantly after the Soviet Union's collapse, the United States maintained and modernized its military infrastructure, adapting to new threats ranging from regional conflicts to terrorism and cyber warfare. This sustained investment, even during peacetime, distinguishes American military policy from most other nations and reflects a strategic commitment to maintaining overwhelming advantage. Defense spending and economic scale. The foundation of American military power rests significantly on economic resources. The United States defense budget for fiscal year 2024 totals approximately $824.3 billion in discretionary funding, with the total Department of Defense Appropriations Act providing $814.4 billion. This represents roughly 3.4% of GDP. To contextualize this figure, it exceeds the combined military spending of multiple major powers. China, the second largest military spender, officially allocates approximately $231 to $236 billion based on its official 2024 budget of 1.67 trillion yuan. However, comprehensive estimates that include off-budget spending range significantly higher, from $318 billion according to some sources, to over $421 billion in more comprehensive assessments. Russia's military spending has surged dramatically due to its ongoing conflict in Ukraine, with 2024 expenditures reaching approximately 13.1 trillion rubles, or roughly $129 to $146 billion, depending on exchange rates used. When adjusted for purchasing power parity, Russian military spending in 2024 was estimated at $462 billion, representing a massive 42% real terms increase from the previous year. This spending advantage creates compounding effects. The United States can simultaneously fund cutting-edge research and development, maintain extensive global deployments, provide superior training and compensation for personnel, and sustain a massive logistics and support infrastructure. The defense budget encompasses not just weapons systems, but the entire ecosystem required for military effectiveness. From satellite networks to medical facilities, from educational institutions to maintenance depots. The economic dimension extends beyond direct spending. American defense contractors represent some of the world's most sophisticated manufacturing and engineering enterprises. Companies like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, and Raytheon drive innovation not just in military applications, but contribute to broader technological advancement. The defense industry employs millions of Americans directly and indirectly, creating expertise that reinforces American advantages across generations. Technological superiority. Perhaps no aspect of American military power is more pronounced than technological dominance. This advantage manifests across every domain of modern warfare. In aviation, the United States operates the world's most advanced fighter aircraft. The F-35 Lightning II represents a fifth-generation multi-role fighter with stealth capabilities, advanced sensors, and network integration that allows it to serve as an aerial quarterback. sharing information across all friendly forces. The program has produced over 1,100 aircraft as of late 2024, with the global fleet now exceeding 1,300 aircraft as of early 2026, and hundreds more planned for delivery. The F-22 Raptor, though older and produced in limited numbers, remains unmatched in air superiority capabilities. The B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, operational since the 1990s, still represents technology that potential adversaries struggle to replicate. The newer B-21 Raider, currently in development, promises to extend American strategic bombing capabilities with even greater stealth and range. These platforms represent not just individual aircraft, but entire systems of reconnaissance, targeting, communication, and precision strike that no other nation can replicate. Naval technology showcases similar advantages. American aircraft carriers are nuclear-powered supercarriers, each displacing over 100,000 tons and capable of projecting air power anywhere in the world. The United States operates 11 of these vessels, while no other nation operates more than 2 carriers of any type, and none approach American carrier capabilities. The Gerald R. Ford-class carriers incorporate electromagnetic aircraft launch systems, advanced radar, and automation that reduces crew requirements while increasing sortie rates. Submarine technology provides another area of clear superiority. American nuclear submarines, both ballistic missile submarines and attack submarines, operate with sound reduction technology that makes them extraordinarily difficult to detect. The Virginia-class attack submarines combine traditional roles with new capabilities, including special operations support and advanced intelligence gathering. Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines form a critical component of nuclear deterrence, each capable of carrying 20 Trident II missiles. Space and cyber domains represent newer frontiers where American investment has created substantial leads. The United States Space Force, established in 2019, coordinates military space operations including satellite communications, GPS navigation, missile warning systems, and reconnaissance. American military satellites provide capabilities ranging from precision weapons guidance to secure global communications that underpin joint operations. Cyber capabilities, while necessarily classified in their specifics, represent another dimension of American technological advantage. The United States Cyber Command coordinates defensive and offensive cyber operations, protecting military networks while maintaining capabilities to disrupt adversary systems. The integration of cyber operations with traditional military domains creates synergies that multiply overall effectiveness. Precision weapons technology demonstrates how American innovation changes warfare fundamentally. GPS-guided munitions, laser-guided bombs, and cruise missiles allow strikes with accuracy measured in meters from thousands of kilometers away. This precision reduces collateral damage, increases effectiveness, and allows smaller forces to achieve objectives that previously required massive commitments. The Joint Direct Attack Munition, a kit that converts unguided bombs into precision weapons, exemplifies American ability to enhance existing capabilities cost-effectively. Emerging technologies promise to extend American advantages further. Artificial intelligence applications in warfare, from autonomous drones to decision support systems, represent areas of heavy investment. Hypersonic weapons development, directed energy weapons, including lasers, and advanced electronic warfare systems all receive substantial funding and attention. While potential adversaries pursue similar technologies, American resources and existing expertise provide significant head starts. Global reach and presence. Military power extends beyond equipment and technology to the ability to project force globally. The United States maintains a network of approximately 750 military installations in over 80 countries and territories worldwide. This permanent forward presence provides multiple strategic advantages. First, it enables rapid response to crises. American forces can reach most global hotspots within hours rather than days or weeks. During humanitarian disasters, security emergencies, or regional conflicts, this responsiveness often proves decisive. The forward deployment also deters aggression, as potential adversaries understand that attacking American allies or interests means engaging forces already in theater rather than providing time to mobilize distant resources. Second, The global presence facilitates cooperation and interoperability with allied and partner nations. American forces regularly train with dozens of other militaries, sharing expertise and building relationships that enhance collective security. These partnerships extend American influence and create networks of cooperation that serve broader strategic objectives beyond immediate military concerns. Major overseas bases illustrate this global footprint. In Europe, installations in Germany, Italy, the United Kingdom, and elsewhere support both NATO commitments and operations extending into Africa and the Middle East. Ramstein Air Base in Germany serves as a critical logistics hub, while Naval Station Rota in Spain provides Mediterranean access. In Asia, significant presences in Japan, South Korea, and Guam anchor regional security architectures. Camp Humphreys in South Korea represents the largest overseas American military base, housing tens of thousands of personnel. The Middle East presence, though fluctuating with policy changes, maintains substantial capabilities through installations in Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, and elsewhere. These facilities supported operations in Iraq and Afghanistan and continue to provide options for regional contingencies. Naval presence exemplifies global reach, perhaps most clearly. American carrier strike groups patrol all major oceans continuously. Each carrier group includes not just the carrier itself, but cruisers, destroyers, submarines, and support vessels, representing formidable combat power, mobile enough to reposition across thousands of miles. The ability to maintain multiple carrier groups at sea simultaneously, while others undergo maintenance and training, requires enormous resources that no other nation can match. Airlift and sealift capabilities enable global logistics at unprecedented scale. The Air Force's fleet of C-5 Galaxy, C-17 Globemaster, and C-130 Hercules aircraft can move equipment and personnel to anywhere in the world. Strategic sealift ships transport heavy equipment and supplies, while the Military Sealift Command operates over 120 vessels supporting sustained operations far from American shores. Personnel quality and training. Technology and resources mean little without skilled people to employ them effectively. The all-volunteer force structure, established in 1973, has created a professional military that emphasizes quality over quantity. With approximately 1.3 million active duty personnel and another 800,000 in reserve components, the American military is not the world's largest. China and India both field larger forces, but the training, education, and retention of American service members create qualitative advantages that multiply technological superiority. Recruitment standards emphasize education, with the vast majority of recruits holding high school diplomas and increasing percentages having college experience or degrees. Basic training establishes fundamental skills, but specialized training continues throughout careers. Technical specialties from aircraft maintenance to cybersecurity require months or even years of formal education beyond basic training. Officer development through service academies, ROTC programs, and officer candidate schools creates leadership with both military expertise and broad education. Many officers hold advanced degrees with education in engineering, international relations, business, and other fields that enhance organizational effectiveness. Senior leaders routinely attend war colleges and advanced professional military education that develops strategic thinking beyond tactical execution. Realistic training distinguishes American military preparation from many potential adversaries. The Red Flag exercises for aviation, where pilots face realistic aerial combat scenarios against aggressor squadrons trained in adversary tactics, create experience that approaches actual combat. The National Training Center at Fort Irwin provides ground forces with similar, realistic opposition in realistic environments. Naval exercises involving multiple ships and aircraft replicate complex operational scenarios. This training emphasis reflects American values around minimizing casualties and maximizing effectiveness. The United States accepts higher costs for training, including fuel for exercises, ammunition for live-fire practice, and wear on expensive equipment, because experience demonstrates that well-trained personnel suffer fewer casualties and achieve objectives more effectively. Compensation and benefits support retention of experienced personnel. While military service involves sacrifices, American service members receive competitive pay, comprehensive health care, education benefits, including the GI Bill, and retirement pensions that make military careers attractive compared to civilian alternatives. This allows the services to maintain experienced, non-commissioned officers and mid-grade officers who provide crucial continuity and expertise. Joint operations and integration. Modern American military effectiveness stems significantly from the integration of different service branches and capabilities. Joint operations, where Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, and Space Force elements work together seamlessly, represent a distinctly American advantage developed over decades. The Goldwater-Nichols Act of 1986 mandated joint operations and created unified combatant commands that control forces from multiple services. This legislative reform overcame service parochialism and created organizational structures that emphasize mission accomplishment over institutional interests. Geographic combatant commands like CENTCOM covering the Middle East, or INDOPACOM covering the Indo-Pacific Region exercise authority over all American military forces in their areas, ensuring coordinated action. Functional combatant commands like Strategic Command or Transportation Command provide specialized capabilities across geographic regions. This structure allows for unified planning and execution that leverages the unique strengths of each service while minimizing redundancy and gaps. Communication systems enable this integration. Secure networks link headquarters, units in the field, ships at sea, and aircraft in flight, creating shared situational awareness that allows commanders to make informed decisions and adapt to changing circumstances rapidly. The investment in command, control, communications, computers, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance systems, often abbreviated as C4ISR, provides information dominance that translates directly into operational effectiveness. Interoperability with allied forces extends these integration advantages internationally. NATO's standardization agreements, combined exercises, and liaison programs mean that American forces can operate effectively alongside dozens of allied militaries. This capability proved crucial in operations from the Gulf War to Afghanistan, where coalition forces worked together in complex campaigns. Nuclear deterrence. The nuclear triad remains a cornerstone of American military power and global security architecture. The United States maintains approximately 3,700 nuclear warheads, with about 1,670 deployed on intercontinental ballistic missiles, submarine-launched ballistic missiles, and strategic bombers. This arsenal ensures that no rational adversary would risk direct military confrontation that could escalate to nuclear exchange. The triad structure provides redundancy and survivability. Land-based ICBMs in hardened silos across the American Midwest offer immediate launch capability. Sea-based missiles aboard submarines, with vessels always at sea and effectively undetectable, ensure survivable second strike capability, even if land-based forces were somehow neutralized. Strategic bombers provide flexibility, as they can be recalled after launch and demonstrate resolve without necessarily executing strikes. Nuclear modernization programs currently underway will replace aging systems with new platforms over coming decades. The ground-based strategic deterrent will replace Minuteman III missiles, the Columbia-class submarines will replace Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines, and the B-21 Raider will supplement and eventually replace aging bombers. These programs, while expensive, ensure that nuclear deterrence remains credible far into the future. Beyond the strategic arsenal, extended deterrence commitments to allies in Europe and Asia mean that American nuclear forces protect not just the United States itself, but dozens of allied nations. This nuclear umbrella reduces incentives for allies to develop their own nuclear weapons, supporting non-proliferation goals while maintaining American influence. Innovation and adaptability. Perhaps the most important long-term advantage lies not in any specific system or capability, but in the culture of innovation and adaptation within American military institutions. The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, has driven breakthrough technologies from the Internet itself to stealth aircraft to GPS navigation. Its model of funding high-risk, high-reward research has created capabilities that often seemed like science fiction before becoming operational reality. Each service maintains its own research organizations and innovation initiatives. The Air Force Research Laboratory, Naval Research Laboratory, and Army Research Laboratory pursue both fundamental science and applied engineering across countless domains. Partnerships with universities and private industry create feedback loops where military requirements drive civilian innovation and vice versa. The American military's willingness to learn from experience, even painful lessons, strengthens institutional effectiveness. After-action reviews following operations, professional journals publishing critical analysis, and educational institutions examining both successes and failures create organizational learning that improves performance continuously. This culture of honest self-assessment, protected by professional norms against retaliation for constructive criticism, distinguishes American military institutions from more rigid hierarchies, where admitting problems carries unacceptable risks. Experimentation with new concepts and organizations allows the American military to adapt to changing security environments. The Marine Corps' recent restructuring to focus on littoral operations in contested environments, divesting of traditional armor to invest in anti-ship missiles and long-range fires, exemplifies willingness to make fundamental changes based on strategic assessment. Whether this specific transformation proves prescient or requires adjustment, the willingness to experiment demonstrates institutional vitality. Challenges and limitations. Honest assessment requires acknowledging challenges and limitations alongside strengths. The rise of peer competitors, particularly China's rapid military modernization and increasing assertiveness, presents challenges that differ fundamentally from the asymmetric conflicts of recent decades. Chinese military spending grows annually. Their technology increasingly approaches or even matches American capabilities in specific areas, and their geographic advantages in the Western Pacific complicate American force projection. Russia, despite economic constraints, maintains formidable capabilities, particularly in nuclear weapons, cyber operations, and regional power projection. Recent conflict in Ukraine has demonstrated both Russian military weaknesses and the challenges of modern high-intensity conventional warfare, where precision weapons and drones create lethal environments even for advanced forces. Russia's dramatic surge in military spending, reaching nearly 40% of federal expenditures in 2025, demonstrates sustained commitment to military power despite economic pressures. Budget constraints and competing domestic priorities create pressures on defense spending. The American military, despite its size and capability, cannot address every mission simultaneously without trade-offs. Deferred modernization, aging infrastructure, and maintenance backlogs create risks that accumulate over time when budgets fail to keep pace with requirements. Recruitment and retention challenges emerge periodically, reflecting demographic trends, economic competition for skilled workers, and changing social attitudes toward military service. Ensuring diverse talent pipelines that include women, minorities, and individuals from all backgrounds requires ongoing attention to make military service appealing and inclusive. The complexity of modern weapons systems creates vulnerabilities. Sophisticated equipment requires extensive supply chains, specialized maintenance, and continuous modernization. Software vulnerabilities could compromise even the most advanced platforms. Over-reliance on technology might create brittleness if adversaries find ways to degrade American technological advantages through cyber attacks, anti-satellite weapons, or electronic warfare. Operational tempo and repeated deployments since 2001 have stressed both personnel and equipment. 20-plus years of sustained combat operations in the Middle East and Afghanistan consumed resources, aged equipment prematurely, and contributed to retention challenges as service members faced repeated family separations. Rebuilding readiness for potential peer conflict while sustaining ongoing commitments requires careful resource allocation. Strategic implications and responsibilities. The American military power carries profound implications for global security architecture. The United States underwrites security guarantees for dozens of nations through treaty commitments and strategic partnerships. This network of alliances in Europe through NATO, in Asia through bilateral agreements with Japan, South Korea, Australia, and others, and elsewhere around the world creates stability by deterring aggression and reassuring partners. Freedom of navigation operations in international waters, particularly in contested areas like the South China Sea, demonstrate commitment to international law and norms. American military presence ensures that critical sea lanes remain open for commerce, supporting the global economy that benefits both the United States and countless other nations. Humanitarian assistance and disaster relief capabilities exemplify how military power serves broader purposes beyond combat. When earthquakes, tsunamis, or other disasters strike, American military logistics and medical capabilities often provide crucial immediate response that saves lives while civilian relief organizations mobilize. These operations build goodwill and demonstrate American values through action. Yet military power also generates responsibilities and risks. The ability to project force globally creates temptations to intervene in conflicts where American interests may be ambiguous or where military force proves insufficient to achieve political objectives. Recent history in Iraq and Afghanistan demonstrates how military victories in combat can fail to translate into sustainable political outcomes, consuming enormous resources while achieving limited strategic success. The challenge of maintaining military superiority while avoiding conflicts that military power cannot resolve requires wisdom and restraint alongside capability. American military power is greatest when it deters aggression and shapes adversary calculations, preventing conflicts rather than fighting them. When force becomes necessary, achieving clear objectives with minimal cost in lives and resources demands careful planning and realistic assessment of what military means can accomplish. Conclusion: American military preeminence represents the convergence of economic resources, technological innovation, professional personnel, global infrastructure, strategic vision, and sustained national commitment across generations. No single element explains this dominance. Rather, the comprehensive integration of multiple advantages creates capabilities that exceed the sum of individual components. This power serves purposes beyond the narrow interests of the United States itself. Global stability, freedom of navigation, deterrence of major war, humanitarian assistance, and support for allied democracies all flow from American military strength. The alternative to American military leadership would not be peace through universal understanding, but increased regional conflicts, great power competition without stabilizing frameworks, and likely nuclear proliferation as nations currently protected by American guarantees developed independent deterrence. Maintaining these advantages requires continued investment, not just in equipment, but in people, ideas, and institutions. It demands honest assessment of challenges, willingness to adapt to changing threats, and wisdom in employing force only when it serves clear strategic purposes. The greatest military in history carries the greatest responsibility to use its power judiciously. Understanding that military strength represents means toward political ends, rather than ends in themselves. The next decades will test whether American advantages can be sustained against rising competitors, emerging technologies, and evolving threats. Success will require not just maintaining current capabilities, but anticipating future requirements and adapting faster than adversaries. If history provides any guide, American innovation, resources, and institutional strengths provide grounds for confidence that the military advantages contributing to American greatness will endure, continuing to shape global security in ways that serve both American interests and broader international stability.